So welcome to Chair Yoga. And in today's class, we're going to focus on balance. And balance is one of those things that as we age, we can easily become alienated from our sense of balance. And in that alienation, we can start to believe the idea that we're losing our sense of balance, when in fact, all it requires us is to practice balancing work. And the chair is one of the greatest props I know of to practice balance work. It's a great prop. At the moment, most of us have 6 legs. We have 4 legs on the chair and 2 legs of our own, all grounded. So one would assume, well, there's not much balance needed for that. But let's see how true that is. Let's explore the myth of losing balance. So firstly, walk your sit bones up and down the chair a bit so you can feel that you can locomote on the chair, moving sit bones forward and backwards, and your feet will come with you. So already you're starting to wake up the proprioceptors in the body, the sense of, oh, the feet are doing their work to move us in space. Now the next time you come forward to the edge of the chair, consider the balance needed to sit. So if we grab the hip bones and push them forward and down, we feel the low back tighten. If you look up, it tightens a bit more. If you squeeze the shoulder blades and stretch open the shoulders at the front and the chest, it's more. And this is what we call forward tilt of the pelvis. So the pelvis orientation is really important to balance. Let's do the opposite extreme where we slide the hands to the knees, grip hold of the knees, pull against the knees, and as you do, drop the head and round the back. And the pelvis tilts backwards. And this is often a major cause of losing our balance when the pelvis is in this position. You can almost feel yourself wanting to fall back into the back of the chair. Brings all the weight to the back of the heels. The front of the toes can lift up easily. So we lose a lot of balance when we round in the back. Release the grip and find a neutral position somewhere between those two extremes. And then create a slight forward tilt, just a very slight forward tilt. And you'll notice that the weight on your feet seems evenly distributed. So this is what we're looking for in balance, the distribution of weight in the feet. Lean the torso forward as if you're about to stand up, and feel how the leg muscles engage. And just adjust your feet so that if you did stand up in this leaning forward stance, your legs would be able to support you. Preferably without using the chair as assistance and without thrusting the body forwards. Come down slowly and feel that balanced position again. Lean forwards and backwards so you feel how the weight shifts in the feet. As you lean forward, the weight pushes down into the balls of the feet. As you come back, the weight shifts into your sit bones. So it's this simple awareness of the shift of weight extremely important for our proprioception, for our sense of balance, forwards and backwards. How much weight can our feet take? Excuse me, there's somebody knocking on the door. I'll be right back. Keep shifting the weight. Yeah, good, mate. I'm teaching a yoga class, so I have to kind of scurry along. No, you didn't say anything about it said yes, but you got it. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Now let's start to feel the listing balance, the sense of balance when we push into one side of the body versus the other. How you can feel the musculature of the spine, the muscles that stabilize the spine engaged to stop us falling over as we lean and list from side to side. Let's add some extremity here by touching the back of the head as you do that. So we come into that classic half moon shape in yoga. And once again, feel how the spine stabilization is instrumental into us not falling off the chair. So spinal stability, really important for as we end there, our balance. And part of that spinal stability is also the ability to turn. So when we turn, we feel our balance changes. So if we're standing and we turn the head, all the sense of shift takes place in the body. Shift the other way, turn the other way. And we're going to do all these experiments standing as well today. Other way. So once again, we're stabilizing the hips and the lumbar spine as we twist from side to side. And the reason we do that is to support our balance when we turn our head. Often people lose balance when they change directions. Inhale back to neutral. And I think the question I left you before I disappeared was how much weight can we take into the feet? So let's straddle the feet a little wider. Come down onto the elbows. And we can do this in stages. I'm going to take a block in between and lean my weight into the block. So at this point, I'm not really using my feet to take the weight, but my hands. As I bend the elbows, the weight starts to move into the legs, hips, and feet. If I let go altogether and cross my arms and dangle, I hit the maximum weight into the feet in this forward fold. So the center of gravity has completely shifted. I could even lift my buttocks off the chair a few inches in that forward squatted fold. If your buttocks is off the chair, slowly come down without plopping, elbows to thighs, and regather your demeanor with a few breaths. If you feel lightheaded, continue to hang in this position. Otherwise, walk the hands back, lifting the torso up, and extend both legs out. So with the bent knees there, we've really been tightening the back of the legs, so we want to lengthen the muscles in the back of the legs now. So with feet extended, toes curled back, lean forwards and backwards a few times just to stretch out the hamstrings and calf muscle. And then slowly come up, and we'll work on opening the hips a bit before we come into the standing positions for today's class. Open the left hip out to the left, and then close, and then right hip to the right. And as you do that, just simply become aware of the sense of balance on your chair as you change the orientation of the hips. Now, can you add a little resistance here? So as you open, push against the opening with the hand, and as you close, push against the closing. Why do we do that? Well, firstly, it helps stabilize and help the knees by strengthening the abduction and adduction of the hips. The inner thigh and the outer thigh muscles are major supporters to the knees. Knees are critical for our balance. Particularly, we want to be free of pain in the knees if we can. Now, the next time you open to the left, pause, and we're going to lengthen the right abductor or adductor and straighten out that leg to the side, pinky toe grounded, and raise up into our classic warrior two arms with head rotation. So turning the head to the backhand and then the forehand. So once again, getting used to moving the head when we find our balance. Close, drop the hands, shift, relax the hips, and come to the other side. Open right, heel toe left. Warrior two arms. Head rotations. Good. Now in this position, see if you can get used to the idea of sitting in your hips as if you were sitting in the saddle of a horse. So you get this sense that you're not leaning forward, but you're plopped right down into the center of the hips. Exhale, release the hands. Come back to neutral. Let's do 2 torso circles in each direction just to release. Other side. And we're going to open up to warrior two again on that left side. So left knee rotates, heel toe right leg. Open up warrior two arms. Now at this point, I'm going to invite you to drop the hands to the chair and lift the hips up. So you're taking the full weight of the body into the hips. This is just an invitation. Otherwise, stay on the chair. Adjust that back leg until you feel a balance point, and then you can lift the arms into standing warrior two if you like. And just notice the balance of orientation in warrior two. Slowly come back to the chair carefully. And you'll notice that that's even a bigger demand on the hips and legs. Close the eyes for a moment. I want you to really experience the neuromuscular impact of what we just did. So there was stretching, there was contracting, there was weight bearing. And that's all going to hit the nervous system in a certain way, the muscular system, the joints. And determine if what we just did was too much or just right. If it's too much, you stay on the chair. Let's open to the other side, heel toe out, warrior two, other side. Now, at the moment, we're using the chair as the prop, so balance isn't the major issue here, but if we bring the hands down to lift us up off the chair, take the weight into the hips, we can start to feel balance comes in. Even though it's 2 feet on the ground, balance is part of the experience of warrior two. Slowly release, grab the chair for support, come back slowly and release the hips. Extend the legs. Let's stretch the back of the legs once again, forward fold. And slowly come back. So one of the classic yoga moves is called chair pose, which ironically we're in a chair already, so I guess you could say we're doing chair pose. But chair pose is where we come into a squatted position. Now, as you lean forward, I want you to really pay attention to your knees, ankles, calf muscles and quads. Feel how they engage. And be very sensitive if you have pain in these joints. Slowly come back and release the pressure. Now grab the side of the chair with the hands. We're going to do the same experience, but this time push down with the feet and lift the buttocks an inch or two off the chair, feeling your squat, but your hands are supporting. Slowly come down without plopping into the chair. Now, I experience lightheadedness after a pose like that because the blood rushes into these huge muscles of the quads and the glutes. So the blood flow is going down into these major muscle groups. Let's try that again. Lean forward, be conscious of your feet, push down with the feet, lift up an inch or two. Slowly come down. Good. Recover from lightheadedness with a few breaths. And we're going to repeat that this time with the arms held forward. So it's like somebody's picking you up. Imagine someone's grabbed your hands and they're picking you up off the chair, and so you're not flinging yourself out of the chair, you're being pulled out of the chair, but you're really pressing down with those muscles. Now, as you hold the hands out, squeeze the shoulder blades. Yeah. Now come down slowly without plopping. Take a look at your feet. How are your feet positioned? Sometimes when we have muscle imbalance, one or both feet are going to rotate outwards. That's okay. Over time, we're trying to train the feet to be parallel, but for now, if there's a muscle imbalance, one foot might rotate out, one a little further than the other. Reach out. Someone's pulling you forward and up, And this time I want you to come all the way up, standing position. Stand alongside the back of your chair. In fact, if you have a block, grab a block and bring it to the outside. So let's all stand on the right side of the chair, which is my left, but I'm mirroring you, so we're all on the same side. And we're just standing at attention, one hand on the back of the chair. Becoming conscious of the weight on the feet. If you lean forward, you'll probably feel all the weight push into the toes, and it'll make you want to step forward to stay balanced. And if you lean backwards, of course, you're going to have to step backwards. So all we're doing is simply rocking forward and backward a few inches, swaying forward and backward, just to feel how the feet talk to the brain. And that's why doing yoga in bare feet can be really beneficial, because your feet are giving immediate feedback to the brain about your balance. Now with that block, bring it to the outside foot, the right foot, pointing outwards. Use the back of the chair for a balance point, and you're going to lift that right knee up, out, and down on the block. So you have asymmetrical hips, asymmetrical feet. One foot's raised into the air, one's on the ground, lifting both hands. We call this a variation of tree pose. And those who've done a lot of yoga know where we're going to go with this. Bring the left hand down to the chair. Take the right foot off the block and push it into your calf muscle. So below the knee joint. Now the standing leg is being supported by the hand on the chair. So I want you to squeeze your left buttock. I want you to really tighten that left leg until you find the point you can do fairy taps on the chair, fairy taps. So you're kind of letting go of the support of the hand and then bringing it back. And then over time you can gradually come up into your low tree pose. And notice how the left foot still sways, rocks, balances, talking to your brain. If you can, use the chair for balance rather than having to release the foot. Excellent. This is going to strengthen the standing leg as well. Release the foot, release the arm, and come back to that center balance. Let's change sides. So bringing the foot onto the other side, the block I mean. Notice as you go to balance on the standing leg, the straight leg, the right leg this time, you kind of lean towards the chair a bit so you feel the balance, the upper body swaying towards that side. And then, of course, using the chair, open up, find your balance point on the block, and you can come into low tree pose on this side. Now, before you move that left foot, so we're thinking on our feet, so to speak. Before you move onto that, before you lift that left foot into the calf muscle, right hand acts as balance on the chair, And you start to engage that standing leg, make it stronger. Push down deeper into the earth so that you can float over with a sense of balance and stability. You can play here as long as you like with the chair. You can do fairy taps to release. You can come and hold the standing leg. And notice how the standing leg every now and then lets go, so keep strengthening it. So you're paying a lot of attention to a lot of things here, consciously. So we move through the 4 stages to come into strong balance poses. Stage 1 is what we call unconscious incompetence. And release slowly. Unconscious incompetence is basically we're incompetent but we're not aware of it. Stage 2, as we start to train it, we become conscious of our incompetence and go, oh wow, I really struggle. Change sides. Now, as we practice and train this time we're going to take the inside leg. So we're going to lean slightly away from the chair as we come onto that standing leg. The left knee comes up this time, and we're going to rotate it out onto the chair. So now we have the taller tree pose. And then we start to come into conscious competence. So as we practice, we start to consciously see the improvement and feel how our balance works. Hold the chair for stability. And this time we're going to try and bring the foot in above the knee joint. Sometimes you can assist that by grabbing it with the other hand. And if you can't bring it in above the knee joint, and you find your foot over the knee joint, make sure the arch is over the knee joint so you're not pressing against that knee joint in a way that's going to hurt it. Now you can play with fairy taps, light contact with the chair, strong standing leg. And the other thing I haven't talked about with balance is keeping our eyes steadily fixed on something that's not moving in front of you. So that can also help and support your balance. Slowly release. And then the final stage of our expertise with balance is what we call unconscious competence, where you don't even have to think about it. It's like driving a car. You get to the point where you can just drive it by reflex without having to think, oh, I've got to put my hands here and I've got to put my feet here. And so you become unconsciously competent. So inside leg is going to take is lift, the outside leg is going to take the weight, rotate out. So we get that nice hip adduction, feel what it's like to stand on one foot, and then with support to the chair you can bring that bent knee in, the foot against the upper thigh or carefully over the arch over the knee joint. And notice here, if you start to play with your balance, start with fingertip balance, so you really give that standing leg time to talk with the brain and say, the brain's going to say, oh yeah, you're a little off balance here, grab the chair. Eyes find a steady point. and preferably using your hand to support you. You can always use a wall as well here. And so you're giving the standing leg time to really get used to balance and also to strengthen, And slowly release. Now find balance on both feet. You may even find on 2 feet right now, you're much more aware of the bottom of the feet, and you're maybe even feeling a little steadier as you stand on 2 feet. Come back to your breath. Keep the upper body relaxed. And we call this mountain pose. Palms face forward. So a mountain is a great image of something that's very stable, very grounded. And you can see that conical shape as the hands point downwards to the earth. Beautiful. So what else can we do for balance? So another nice balance pose is to bring your chair to the top of the mat and reverse its orientation. So the seat points back towards you. You're facing the seat. And just for demonstration, I'm going to bring my chair to the side so you can see what I'm doing. You're not hidden behind mine. And bringing the hands onto the chair, walk back to your classic L stretch. Make sure the chair is stable. It should be on a mat or pressing against a wall. Now in this position, rotate the inner thighs back. So your feet don't change position, but it's as if you're trying to become pigeon-toed from the upper thighs. Push the hips back more, feel that. And step the right foot forward just under the chair a little bit, both legs straight. Both legs on a railroad track. So make sure there's hip width distance or shoulder width distance between the feet, crossways. And both feet need to be flat on the floor. So it's not like a warrior one pose where the back heel is lifted. Both legs are straight. Both feet are parallel. And bring the left hand to the hip. And notice how precarious the balance is here. Just feel how important that right hand is on the prop to keep you balanced. So your body is completely asymmetrical. And so the proprioceptors to the brain, the conversation with the brain is saying, wow, how do I stay balanced? Can you come onto your fingertips on the chair and bring that top shoulder back more so you're coming into a little twist? So you're a little higher. You could even put a block on the chair if you want more height. Slowly lift the left hand to the sky. Good. That's it. Now, if you can, remove the hand and you can bring it against the thigh or the knee. Good. And if you like, you can start to slide that hand down towards the feet, coming into our classic pyramid pose. Bring the right hand down to the chair slowly. Left hand to the chair and step back into your L stretch, rotating the upper thighs in and back. trying to become pigeon-toed without moving the feet. Push back with the hips and then step the opposite foot forward, that left foot. Once again, feet on railroad tracks, both heels grounded. And even this position here can be really, really nice for a stretch on the front hamstring. Right hand, right hip. Left hand keeps supporting you on the chair. Maybe come to the fingertips. So you come up a little taller, but that's going to allow you to bring your right shoulder back more. Once again, conversation between the brain and your feet. The brain is saying, whoa, this is out of whack. This is unbalanced. So stay there until you feel more confidence, and you might be able to slide up. Let's bring the right hand to the sky first. So we're just getting that nice twist. And then float the left hand back to the thigh or knee. And as you acclimate, you can start to slide down towards the ground into that pyramid pose with balance. So we took time to feel the sense of balance. We just took time, that's all. Time, awareness. Beautiful. Right hand to the chair, left hand to the chair, step back, L stretch. Inner thighs rotate backwards, push the hips back, nice big L stretch. Step halfway towards the chair, and then rejig your chair into its normal starting position. Now, before we sit on the chair, I want you to back up so you're only a couple of inches away from the chair and you know the chair is right there behind you. And when I've taught chair yoga to thousands of people over the years. One of the biggest awarenesses I like to leave with people is when you sit in a chair, if you can, resist the temptation of the habit to twist and turn to sit down. Because if you do that, let's try that, just fingertips on the chair, you're twisting to one side, you're looking down. Can you feel how your feet have shifted their center of gravity? So one foot, the weight's on the outside edge, the other foot on the inside edge. You've lost your sense of balance. You're relying on your hands to come to balance. Slowly come back to neutral. And instead of twisting, as you bend the knees, push the hips back like you're doing a squat. Fingertip the chair. So you're just fingertipping the chair, you know it's there. And continue slow motion as long as you can before you sit on the chair. Feel that really soft landing and that sense that you remained balanced as the body kept shifting its center of gravity. If you could do that for homework, every time you sit in a chair, and even stand in a chair so you resist the temptation to twist as you stand, if you could sit and stand in your chair for the next few weeks, just getting used to this balance and control and stability, you're going to get stronger. You're going to increase your proprioceptive sensitivity, your sense of balance, and you're going to gain a lot more confidence. People lose confidence when they start to use their upper body to sit and stand. So it's a bit of a, how can I say it? You're buying yourself some time. I often say to people, well, at a certain age, if you can't sit or stand, your whole lifestyle will change. You might have to live in a home. You might need a support person to help you. So we're buying ourselves some extra time by practicing non-lazy techniques, non-shortcuts. These are shortcuts. When we twist and use our upper body, it's a shortcut. It's a way to take the work out of the legs into the upper body, but it does shorten our autonomous lifestyle, I believe, or it's one of the factors. So just consider that as a practice for this week, homework. And once again, come to a balanced seat position, palms face up, resting in the lap. Let the feet be soft on the ground. Let the weight of the feet be evenly distributed. Toe pads, balls of feet, heels of feet. As you exhale, sit up tall. As you inhale, let the rib cage broaden from left to right, right to left, under the armpits, so you become wider. Exhale, sit tall. Inhale, broaden. Once again, become aware of your balance on your sit bones when you have good posture. And thank you for joining me today. Namaste. Wonderful. Yay.